Hey everybody. Today was a bad day. Shani did good throughout the night, and then Alex went to check on him just to kind of stop by and see him when he was on his way back from Justin's kindergarten graduation today. So he stopped in, and when he left there, he called me and he was like, "Hey babe, just want to let you know he was doing really well, but he had 2 spit ups while I was there and they were kind of big." I was like, "Okay, I'll keep an eye on that." So when I got there, he was good. And then I was sitting and I was looking up something on my iPad in the chair, and I was faced obviously where I could see Shane, and the alarm started sounding. So I looked up and he had completely quit breathing. He was apneic, and I could see that he wasn't breathing, and he was blue. So the alarms didn't start sounding enough for the nurses to come in until his SATs had already dropped to the 40s. And I was stimulating him. I was tapping his foot and rubbing his back and trying to get him to breathe. And he just wasn't cooperating with me. They're like, "Mom, you're doing everything right. Just keep stimulating him." So I did. And he finally came back up. It took a little while. The nurse stayed in there with me just to make sure that he came back up. But that was the first of many DSATs for the day. His heart rate didn't drop. I guess that's the one positive to look at. But no, Mommy had a nervous, sick feeling in the pit of her stomach because, sorry, hope no nips showed. Could see the bottle. Yeah. It steadily got worse throughout the day. I held him, and when I was holding him, they set up a mirror like to my side where I can see his face, because when I have him, his head's up here, and so I can't really look down at him. So they had the mirror, and I felt him stop breathing, and I looked in the mirror, and he was blue. And then everything tanked down to like 21%, 20%, something like that. It was, it was tough. So that time I was stimulating him and he wouldn't breathe. So Mommy started panicking, and then this nurse came in and rubbed him so hard. Like, I watched his skin move and turn white. Like, it was crazy how hard she was rubbing him. And he finally started crying. I was like, "Fine, kiddo, you can cry because that means you're breathing." So that stimulated him. Thank God. Because that one was nerve-wracking. And I held him for an hour and a half, and he desatted several times while I was holding him. I had to keep stimulating him. He just was having periods of apnea. Well, the doctor came in to talk to me, and he was like, "Mom, it's like he's back in the womb when you're holding him." I'm like, "Thank you. That's exactly what I've been saying." It's like, "Hey, woman, breathe for me again." So he was like, "I'll come back after you put him back up in his bed and do an assessment." Well, it turned out after we put him back, he was fine. Sorry, I'm exhausted today. I'm emotionally exhausted. So after I put him back, he was fine. I put him back after an hour and a half just because I needed to pump, but I still had a few minutes, and for, I guess, about 20 minutes, I just stood there singing to him because he was wide awake. I mean, eyes wide open, focused on me. So I sang to him. His favorite song is "Row, Row, Row Your Boat." It's cute. He smiles. But he was fine, and then I went and I pumped. And while I was pumping, he went down to 19%. So I ripped the tubes off and just jumped up while I still had... Thank God for this, hands-free pumping bra, because, I jumped up, tore the tubes off, and went over to him, and I was trying to stimulate him, and then the nurse came in, and I was like, he's breathing, but it's not coming up. So she and the respiratory therapist came in when he did it again, and the respiratory therapist said he's too pink. And then the nurse said that too. She's like, "Yeah, he's too pink to be at 19% saturation." So they readjusted his O2 sat monitor, and he came back up. He was fine. He was back up in the 90s. But then it kept happening so frequently during the day that both his nurse and the charge nurse were in there, and they were getting worried, and they called the doctor twice. And so Mommy started to get a little panic feeling in the pit of her stomach. But I don't know, after the doctor finally got there and assessed him, he ordered a stat, chest x-ray, and blood gases. So he was very tachypnic today. It's like he would go breathing 123 breaths a minute to not breathing at all. Like, it was weird. It was either all or nothing. So because he was breathing so fast when he was breathing, they ordered the blood gases, and I'm assuming it wasn't acidotic because they said everything was normal. Because, I don't know, my nursing knowledge helps me out here to know that when you're, respiratory acidosis causes you to breathe very fast to try to blow off that extra acid. But that wasn't the case. So he said that the chest x-ray had a little bit of fluid on it, like a little bit of fluid on his lungs, so he went ahead and gave him Lasix. He was fine after the doctor messed with him. Like, he desatted a couple times, but he didn't go very low. I don't know, it's just kind of crazy how it just, I don't know. The doctor assessed him, and he turned out to, I don't know, he had a better day after that. Yeah, but Mommy's emotionally exhausted. I'm glad he's doing better. I just called to check on him. I have no clock in here. I don't know why I'm looking around. It's like right around 8-ish, 8:05, something like that. And I didn't leave there until almost 7. But I've already called to check on him. She said he hasn't had an episode since I left. So that's good news. Hopefully it stays that way through the night. I told her I will be calling to check on him frequently tonight, and she said that's fine. I'll be here all night. Call me anytime. So I'm definitely going to check on him more. But I do have great news. When he got weighed last night, he had gained 40 more grams. He was 2 pounds 15 ounces. So I'm hoping tonight when I call that he is over 3 pounds. So that's like, I don't know, such a big deal because we're 2 weeks old today. I don't know, he just amazes me. He responds to my voice now a lot, and my husband noticed that too, that he's responding to sounds. So he was smiling at us tonight. It was just, I love when he smiles. It's just such the neatest feeling. But, yeah, that's today's update. This mama is emotionally exhausted and going to try to eat some dinner and get some rest after I finish pumping. So, yeah, waking up every 3 hours to pump is exhausting too. I'm not getting enough sleep. It's like no matter what I do, I feel like I'm not getting enough sleep, and I know a lot of it is because I'm worried a lot. So hopefully tonight I'm able to rest some, and hopefully baby man has a good night, because Mommy's worn out. Like, I'm worn out for him. It's like he was working so hard today, and I'm the one who's exhausted. He was laying there chill, but I don't know. Hopefully I have better news to give tomorrow. So, yeah, that's today's update, guys. Sorry, it's kind of a downer day, but they said good days and bad days, and this just happened to be a bad one. So that's why I cherish the good days when we have them. And, yeah, I'm trying to keep my spirits up. I keep praying for strength, and for strength for Shane, too. That he, strength for me to get through this emotionally, and strength for him to grow and mature to the point where he outgrows these episodes. So, everybody keep my baby guy in your prayers, and yeah, I'll update you again tomorrow.